Bitcoin is about to hit 100,000 and it's either going to fall apart or rip to Valhalla. And you know what? I don't care. I just want to have a plan of what I'm going to do in either case. And that's what we're going to walk through today. What's up, everybody? Chris over here, founder of PollinatedTrading.com. And yeah, today we're going to take a look at not just Bitcoin, we're actually going to take a look at crypto and a general plan of how to deal with. Look, Bitcoin's at 94,400 this very second. I think we got up 95,000 today. It above 95,000. Yep. It is so close to 100,000. And the fact that it gets to 100,000 is actually irrelevant. If you price in Bitcoin, still one Bitcoin, right? If you price in dollars, then 100,000 is this big round number. And, there is a bunch of big round number theory type analysis out there. And a lot of people I know personally who said, I plan to sell if Bitcoin actually ever hits 100,000. I'm going to sell some. That's, everybody has their own decisions to make there. I'm, buying as much as I can. I don't have the access that Michael Saylor has yet. So I'm doing it the way I can. Buying, yes, and buying MicroStrategy and Coinbase and buying other cryptos with, the eventual goal to end up with more Bitcoin. So let's take a look at, let's just look at my plan. This is how I'm going to go about it. So this is currently Bitcoin. This is a 3-day chart. So each candle here represents 3 days. This is a conglomerate of the Bitcoin on Coinbase, on Binance. That's the Binance perpetual futures, and that's Bybit perpetual futures. And then it's also the Bitcoin CME futures. Okay. So I've got a conglomerate of all of them, and then I divide it by 4, and that, gives me the average price of all 3 of those or all 4 of those. But more importantly, what we see here is this volume profile on the side. Okay. This shows how much volume was traded at that price level. So when you see like this dotted line right here, this represents the 70% of, well, that represents the largest amount of Bitcoin traded in this 12-month window. Okay, this is a 12-month, this is a 2024 volume profile. So it's measuring the 2024 period. So this year, the price that Bitcoin was, the most volume that was traded at that level was 67,900 across all of those exchanges. Okay. So this is the point of control, is what that's called. The top dotted line and the bottom dotted line are the value area. So that's where 70% of Bitcoin was traded. So the 100% level, where the absolute most, and then 70% of the volume was traded here. And then you can see from 40,000 to 95,000, just a kind of a smithering of it all. So as we all probably could think back to, since basically March, it had been trading between about 50,000 and 75,000. So the 72,000 above and 56,000 below is about right. It's just math. Okay, so over here, what tends to happen is price is always in price discovery. So the phrase price discovery is actually it's just, a misnomer. It's not really only discovering price in new levels. It also discovers price here. It's always in discovery of price. And it's actually discovering value. Okay. So at what price is the value the highest? For this year, the best price, where everybody agreed it was cheap and expensive at the same time, so the most volume passed through, was around the $68,000 level, between 72 and 56,000, generally speaking. So when that price was fully, you can see that it ran up to it, Typically what happens is you run up to this price level and then you are discovering where price is going to be too expensive. Okay. Once it's too expensive, it comes back in and finds where it's too cheap. That is where more people are buying it. Where people are selling it is where it's too expensive. That means it's cheap. And so in that range, it starts to find, okay, where is the price that is actually the best price? And we got down in here and we spent a lot of time here this year, but it stayed within that range, and then it took off at the pretty much from our October 5 or August 5 dip area where we bought. From there, it's doubled and almost doubled completely. And when you travel to new areas, a clean trend is one that there's no holes in volume. So there's no skipping of price. This is very reactive, aggressive, just buying at the market, buying however I can get in type of frenzied buying. Okay. When you see that, that's indicative of big money stepping in. Now, if it cools off and the big money is like, cool, I'm in, it's probably going to dip back into here and get these. There's orders that are sitting there waiting. And so these exchanges will be like, hey, I would love to get those transaction fees. There are people who are always sitting around waiting to buy dips. So there's always going to be orders in here. And, there's people that are going to have stops right below this area too. The key levels we're looking at is 87,000 to 82,000 to 80,000 to 77,000 to 75,000. There's a lot of round numbers going on that level, right? So those are also key levels for support. So my first order of business here is I now have an idea if by chance we don't just take off from the lows or from these levels, take off to 100,000, and every Bitcoiner's dream takes off to a million straight from there. And so there's two ideas here right now. The general consensus is that we're going to reject at 100,000, or we're going to get really volatile at 100,000 because a lot of people are going to sell once it hits 100,000. And absolutely, that's the most likely thing. The other most likely thing is that we don't even go to 100,000. We come back here and clean it up. Okay. What I don't think a lot of people are expecting is that we don't hit 100,000 and we come back down here and clean it up. I don't think people are really expecting that so much right now. I think the consensus is that we're going to hit 100,000, bang around there, and then sell off, maybe back down into the 70s, and then take off again. I'd say that's probably the most consensus take that I've heard on Bitcoin right now. So I have to be open for three outcomes here in that sense. The main outcome that everybody's talking about right now, who's paying attention, is it rallies up to 70 to 100,000 and then rejects and comes back down and retests the breakout down at this 75, 80, the level in here, right? That's the main outcome that everybody's planning on. Now, so the bullish outcome is that trade to 100K. Yeah, trade to 100K. Oh, geez. Trade to 100K, then short squeeze to 200K. Okay. Now, there is analogs of that happening. The last two cycles for Bitcoin, that has happened where you take off, you put in a new all-time high, you come back and consolidate. So we've done this. All-time high, consolidate for 7 days, which we did. And then in 8 days, it doubles from the breakout. So that could be maybe not 100, maybe it could be 150 to 200K, 8 days. That's a bullish outcome. The bearish outcome, consensus. Let's call this consensus. consensus outcomes, trade to 105, down to 80, then bull market on. The bearish outcome is don't hit 100K and then reverse back to value area and more of an alt season. Now, these are all crypto takes. This isn't the angry guy on Twitter who hates Bitcoin or crypto. These are crypto takes. Does everything. Okay. And then, here's one other one that I think isn't, I don't know my core thought or thesis. Now, this is all discretionary. This is not, anything to do with much else. My core thesis is we hit 103 to 105K, then pull back and consolidate for a month, 2, 3 months, then send to 300K. Okay, so that's kind of been this has been my thought for the last little while. Consensus is that we trade to 100, at 100K, everybody sells. We buy down, we dip back down to clear this area right here, and then we go. Everybody's talking about that. They're looking to buy the dip. Great. The bullish outcome is, or the bullish bet is that it goes to 100, and then just within 8 days, the squeeze is on for 150, 200. And then from there, you get straight into alt season. That's when, everything else starts going. That's where you get the Solana 800, or 3000 or whatever. SUI and all the big caps do their thing. The bearish outcome is that today was the top, and it's going to die. The rally's over in Bitcoin, and we're just going to sideways it from here or down here, which opens up alt season. So again, this is crypto trader stuff here. Now, my personal belief is that we actually take off above 100,000. So everybody who was over hoping to buy the dip actually misses it, and it starts moving above 100,000. And as we get to about 103 to 105, they buy in, and then we get the correction. And then that correction comes down and cleans this up, or maybe just 100,000 cleans it up. But my belief is that it does more of it overshoots the upside, making everybody think that the 200,000 thing is in play, and then comes back, cleans it up, and then goes. And by the way, if that happens, that could be, it could happen in the same day. It could overshoot 100, make everybody believe, get up to 103, 105, maybe more, I don't know, make everybody believe that that's where it's going to, it's fully on to the next 200,000 or whatever, and then leave everybody sitting on the sideline. That's my core belief, but it doesn't mean that I'm trading that way. Like I'm not going to, like, I'm currently long Bitcoin, and I'm long a few others, and I have that in a couple of places in the crypto momentum system. That's purely spot, so there's no leverage. That's all in. That one's all in, and I add to it every month. So each month I buy more stuff. I can position size better. Currently, that's in memes, that's in layer ones, and that's in AI. And so that's doing nothing. Now, I have a prop account with a buy breakout, and it's a crypto prop trading firm. So for those of you in the United States who want leverage and to trade a lot of the names that you can't trade in regular US accounts, the buy Bitcoin or buy breakout prop firm gives you the ability to put up a couple $100 and get, 8x or so risk. And so that one I'm using to do a stink bid idea. Okay. And I'll walk through the stink bids. So if so let's say I've got the $100,000 account with them. I can only lose $6,000. So I'm not like super exposed. I have a small exposure right now. And I'm in. If this thing does what I, want it to do, the position I'm in is fine. It'll make plenty of money. If it goes down into here, then I have the majority of my money orders down here waiting on a number of these different names. And I'll go through some of them here in a minute. We'll kind of walk through the price levels that I would be. But generally speaking, these gaps that we're seeing here on the volume profile, those gaps are also going to be existing on things like Solana, on Doge, on Sui, on Bonk, on name your crypto that rallied over the last 2 weeks. There's going to be most likely gaps. WIF has already come back into it, so it's closer to a safer buy right now. If we get a recovery than others, but let's walk through, take a look. So here's Solana, first one. You can see that price gap here in Solana at from 222 or so, 220 to 232, from 220 to 230. And what do you see is that it ran up and did its thing, and then it's been coming back down into that area, cleaning up that low volume and back up. Now, this is just on Coinbase. So, SolUSDT.p, you can take a look at what it looks like on Binance. You got to make sure you got enough dates on it. Binance, same sort of thing. There is that same gap right in here, right? So it's not just on Coinbase that it happened, but it's totally available. Okay. So I got orders in around 225 on Solana in case it comes down and sets it up and goes. You could put stink bids all the way down to 205. So the thing is depending on the exchange you're on and depending on the product, sometimes you can put, bids down like all the way over here, 175, 150, and you get like a meaty sell. Sometimes you can get a spike all the way down into that. You get filled. Imagine if you put an order in at 150 on Solana and it hits you. So you buy 5 Solanas or something like that, right? And then it's back up to it's up to 250 within, a day. So you almost doubled your money. Well, 50% of your money in about however little time, because you have it in there. The downside of that is you are tying up capital that could otherwise be being used. So it's only when there is a potential for some weakness to come in that you would use this strategy. So let's take a look at Sui, which is the Solana of this cycle. And you can see that dips. It's actually done the same thing that Solana has been working on. It's actually done. It has gone into that range. But there's another one down here. Sui went like turbo bid from the September lows at 82 cents to $4. So like almost a 400%, 300% gain in like 2 months. So the likelihood of a Sui on a dip, probably a lot higher than it would be just bottoming out here. However, that being said, it could just leave it and never come back to it. So what I'm looking at is putting orders in down here at like 250, I think, is where I have my orders, 250, 260 on Sui on a dip. Let's take a look at Doge. Doge has a big move, dude. Doge went from 12 cents to 44 cents, almost 4x in like 2 months. And now we're in this, we're at the potential beginning of a major bull market on Bitcoin. If I can get Doge, I think it's at 30 cents or maybe even like 25 cents is where I'm looking to get in. If I don't get filled on any of these and everything just turns up and starts going, great. My momentum system can trade that. But I want to have the ability to pick up and that's why I have the prop account with the margin, so that I can still run my normal system with no issues. And then on this stuff, just, trade it. So the momentum system's looking to 100x my account this year. I'm 17x already this in a year. I want to, 100x the account by the end of this whole move. And then this prop stuff is just it's a separate one. It's for the, more of the active trading side. Let's take a look at Pepe. on maybe on Kraken. Yeah, Kraken will be fine. Okay. So on Pepe, I'm looking at, I think I got it in at 13 or 14 cent. It's somewhere near here. This is on Kraken. Let me see if I can find it on Bybit. .p. Okay. So we're into the area where Pepe would have the nice move up. Bonk, USD. You could come in and buy Bonk down in here. What else do we want to be looking at here? ETH. Let's see if there's anything on ETH. Oh, nope, there isn't, because it's still nowhere near its all-time highs, or nowhere near its highs, I should say, not even all-time highs. What else do we want to be looking at? Let's take a look at our one thing we can do is since the election, we can see what is the strongest names coming out of there. And so Peanut is one, Bonk, Pepe, Doge, Floki, Brett, AIOZ. Okay, let's do AIOZ. So it's, look, on the trading side, you want to own the memes. You want to be in the memes because yes, they fall off the hardest oftentimes during a dip, but they also on their recovery, they recover the hardest. So we can see that since the election, Peanut, Bonk, Pepe, Doge, Floki, Brett, and the top 7 are meme coins. Then we have AI coin. Then we have Sui, which is layer 1, right? We got Ondo, which is a real world asset. And then we got Near, which is another AI. Sol is creeping up there. Solana with Solana AVAX. Let's take a look at AVAX. So on a dip, AVAX at 30 is probably where you'd want to be, considering it. This has like so much upside potential, especially because if the gaming, one thing else you want to notice on this is it's the gaming names, AVAX, Scale, some of those injective, some of the gaming names, Illuvium, Axes, are in the top. So it's right now we've got AI, we've got real world assets, we've got layer 1s, and then we've got gaming as the like main winners right now. Gaming has not performed at all so far. So that's a place that, it has a lot of room to come back. So a lot of the names in gaming are starting to, get going. I'm a big fan of AVAX as a potential winner of, or one of the big names in gaming. I should say not a winner, but definitely a big winner in that. And so that's what we're looking at. The next thing I want to do is I want to go and look at the November 13th period. That's when that's here. So what time was that? 1740. So so a week ago, since then, it's been Bonk, Brett, Scale, Floki, Ondo, again, AIOZ, TRX, okay. Solana, Arbitrum, Sui, Near. So we've got memes, we've got real world asset, we've got layer 1s, AI. Yeah, and AI as like the main names. So now we're starting to see what is so that's gaming, memes, gaming starting to kind of get going. And then let's take a look. So since yesterday was pretty much the day that the Bitcoin stuff came out, the Bitcoin options came out, and Bitcoin really put on a run for 100,000. So let's go into yesterday and get an idea of Floki, like a gaming meme coin. I think strongest. Bitcoin second strongest. Ape. I think Floki and Ape, if nothing else, they represent the gaming sectors. So that's a heads up. We've got BNB, we've got Ethereum, Bitcoin. So exchange or infrastructure, like layer 1s, AVAX, Solana, Sui, real world assets. So from yesterday, it looks to me like AI, which was leading for the last little bit, is no longer leading nearly as much. Where's AIOZ? It's like been the leader. Yeah, that's down 6.5% since yesterday. Again, like I say, when the selling comes, those names do the worst, but they are also the thing that everybody's after. So let's take a look at what the funding heat map looks like. Oh, it's back down to 16 Pepe, 10%. Okay, wow. They've done a really good job of clearing out a lot of margin on these yesterday. So let's see what Doge 59%. So let's go Doge. Okay. So Doge right now is at 11%. Yesterday was at 21%, 59% on the 18th, 20th today. So you can see how much leverage has come down. Pepe, really high leveraged. Peanut was at 48%. Goat, see where all the high leverage was being traded? Was all in the memes. What do we got on our chart over here? Popcat. Where's Goat? Do I have Goat on here? I don't know if I have Goat on here. Let me see if I can change one of the Popcats to Go USD. So you can see Goat with Peanut, Popcat, Grass. So Popcat has the most leverage at 40% right now. Goat, 35%. Notice how low they are on the last 2 days, right? So the most leveraged are down at the bottom. They're getting liquidated right now. That means this funding rate means you're willing to pay 40% interest to borrow to margin trade Popcat. That's what that's telling us. That's what this chart is all about. Okay. So what do we need to be looking at? Bitcoin's at 5%. That was at like 15%, I believe. Yeah, yesterday and today. Yeah, we're cleared, man. 17 on ETH. Oh, ETH's actually up. Okay. Let's see if we can find Floki. I don't know if Floki's leveraged here. They don't have it on this one. Okay. Probably why Floki's just ripping. Do we got Ape? No. Let's look at BNB. Yeah. So Binance, 11%. It's up there. It's up there. So, but right now, generally speaking, I'm like, we are great on leverage for Bitcoin, for Solana. Sui's at 10. Ripple can, whatever. The only thing, it's like Bitcoin's at 5%. So coming back to that tells me that Bitcoin most likely, it doesn't have too much to worry about. Let's see if we can find the liquidation, see if that's going to help us at all. And we're going to go symbol, BTC, 24 hour, as expected. Let's do 1 week. May have to go 1 month to get 100,000 Bitcoin. Well, there's a big amount of shorts sitting at 300. Let's do 1 week again. So from about, it looks like 95,000. So we've got, just right here, you've got $228 million liquidated, probably about half a billion if we get above 96. Let's do short. Let's go to the model 2. Let's see what we get on that. And let's do the symbol. Notice at 100, there's not much sitting there. The big amount of liquidation is sitting at 100 or is at 95.6. That's the biggest area of a couple 100 million sitting here getting liquidated. So what do we see if we hit 96? Probably squeeze. That probably gives you a good squeeze. You would think that you would see billions sitting up here at 100,000, but you don't. Yeah, it's all right here, right above where it's at. So a lot of liquidation potentials on there. So back to our map, you can see, look at the hottest was ENA in November, TIA, BCH, 196% on GOAT. So memes were the thing that everybody's playing. So the thing about it now, we've got MicroStrategy buying billions of spot Bitcoin. We've now got the Bitcoin options, which require, just market making. That's going to require having to buy and sell spot Bitcoin to hedge. MicroStrategy itself is just insanely ripping. Ironically, the equity market is where the best returns are coming from on those. So keep an eye. The funding rate is great right now. The funding rate is great. My thoughts are that we get up to 105 or so before we start to get any resistance and any weakness, and then a move back down into clean this up, and then we go, as opposed to going down to it right now. A 5% funding rate, not worried about that. Now, that being said, I am absolutely not in any of, still in memes, still in layer ones, getting ready to get into gaming, AI, just a little bit of focus, and still in real world assets. Waiting on the remainder of the sectors to kick off because Bitcoin is still the show. So the majority of my trading on my trading prop side is going to be in the meme coins, and it's going to be in Bitcoin, because that's just the best opportunities to trade right now. If you want to trade with me, you can join us, Pollinate Trading Lab, pollinatetrading.com/lab. You can come in. We trade live every day. I do a live stream. You can join the live streams for free right now. Those will be only lab members here towards the end of the month. You can join the crypto momentum system, which is a full complex plan and algorithms and strategy to trade the crypto bull market. And we're also bringing on the auto trading feature. Right now, we're starting with Coinbase. So you'll be able to plug your Coinbase account into there, and it buys and sells Ethereum and Bitcoin. And it's the longer term play. It averages something about 50 to 100% returns per year. And more importantly, in 2022, it was up 22%. It doesn't go short. It trades spot. So it's very effective. It's just long on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's my favorite thing in the world because it's really simple. You just literally, connect your Coinbase account, and boom, it's trading for you. And that would double your money every year. So that's the sort of thing that you go from, that's where compounding really steps in. And that's the long-term play here. So I'm doing all my trading, so that end of the cycle, I can dump it all into there, and it will just keep trading. It also, if I don't really want to trade all the time, and I just throw it into there. So that's coming online pretty soon. We always, as always, we're trading all markets, equities, futures, some options, some FX. I got a big euro long forming. So you want to trade with us, pollinatetrading.com/lab. You want to check out that crypto system, pollinatetrading.com/crypto. And it's on, man. It's on. And I've got my Bitcoin astronaut hoodie on, and let's do it. All right. Love you all.